So upcoming Friday nights, me and the degenerate boys that we are, we're coming back with the betting show.
You look at the way he bounces off tacklers, the way that he keeps his eyes downfield, his vision, his ability to find holes, his pass catching ability, right? Because he had.
In my lifetime, I'd put him at probably around the 2 area, with, again, the only other person up there being King Ricky.
Anthony Richardson or Caleb Williams at the 111.
Yeah.
So just hit us.
What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Jared the Bear here with the Candle King himself, Christian Gutierrez, back again with another Wednesday episode of a Week 9 NFL recap. Jake couldn't be with us today. He had something come up, so it's just going to be us two. Gucci, welcome to the Wednesday shows. Usually you're just Friday, Saturday kind of guy, so thank you for being here. And
yeah, man, I'm finally glad I could hop on a Wednesday show. Finally off of work for a random Wednesday, so I'm glad I got the last second invite and was able to hop on in.
Yeah, well, I'm glad you're here because this would have been boring as hell if it was just me, and nobody wants to listen to that, and I don't want to listen to myself talk for an hour. So thanks for being here. With that, what was your take on this week? What did you think about it before we start diving into individual games?
It was a very predictable week, I'd say. I think Vegas lost like a ton of money this weekend.
Yeah.
I want to say favorites, like I think one favorite that didn't cover a spread this week. So
yeah,
cool to see that all the favorites covered.
Yep, I agree. That's why in the title I had to put they are who we thought they were. Nothing like Dennis Green, Cardinals Bears from 2006, the famous quote. So I had to put that up there because they are who we thought they were. Every game made sense to me in the most part. And, as Friday when we get into it, you clean sweeped college and I clean sweep the NFL for the 3rd week in a row. So we're on a fucking heater. So if you guys are not watching Fridays, you are missing out on money. Just don't take my college picks and don't take Gucci's NFL. But one of each, you're going to fucking start making some money. You're going to start making some money. With that being said, we'll dive right on into the Texans and Jets. And then also in the comments, if you have anything that you guys would like to have us talk about, whatever game, we can beat bop around, do whatever, and talk about your team. Hopefully we won't shit on them. And I know nobody wants to watch a podcast where you just shit on somebody's team like week in and week out. You're like, dude, fuck these guys. I'm not watching this. So there's always something good to take from these games.
Yeah.
So what do you think, Gooch? What do you see from this Texans team and this Jets team?
I think the Texans are it's showing everyone that they're slumping a bit. They've had 2 back-to-back kind of bad weeks.
Yeah.
I think the last 3 weeks over.
Oh, you're kind of cutting in and out there a little bit. You may have to. You may have to relocate to the couch. You're kind of cutting in and out.
Yeah. Let me move over.
All right, I'll go. All right, so what did I learn from this Houston Texans team is, man, do they miss Nico Collins and Stephon Diggs. Joe Mixon did all he could, 24 carries, 106 yards on the ground with a touchdown, but that offense was just flat. I still don't have any faith in the Jets, but, man, I fucking hate betting on the Jets, and they showed me why, because everybody was thinking the Texans were going to absolutely win this game, and what do? They come out and win, so it's just I hate voting. I hate, any sort of betting with that team. Aaron Rodgers, 3 touchdowns. He did his thing. Devontae Adams is growing into that offense. He's looking really well. Garrett Wilson's still getting his. He's still getting his 9 receptions, 90 yards, 2 touchdowns for him. He's averaging about 9 receptions a game, somewhere around that 90 to 100 range. Devontae Adams has only increased his role since being there, and I don't expect that to change. Breece Hall, he had an okay game. But yeah, Breece Hall is okay. They've got the Cardinals coming up this week. So once again, I have no idea. As a, diehard Cardinals fan, I have no idea who I'm going to, bet on that game. Probably won't even bet on it at all because I have no idea what Jets team's even going to show up.
Yeah. Sorry. Technical difficulties. I think the corner of my little office there is the furthest away in my house from the router.
Yep.
Yeah, no, the Jets, man, they're so unpredictable. Like you come out flat-footed in the first half, and then when you come back in the second half, you just pour it on. Like the tune what you were saying earlier about the Texans really missing Nico Collins, and it's kind of ever since like that injury happened, they've kind of just lost their flow, their rhythm on offense. And their defense has never been great. It's been decent, but
They've got 2 great pass rushers.
yeah,
But yeah, I agree. It's almost like they fell off whenever they ran into the wagon that was the Vikings a couple of
yeah.
weeks ago. They just they fell off and they're just like, oh shit, what do we do now? That's kind of what I'm getting out of them. Um, I still have no faith in the Jets. I refuse. They burned me the first 5 weeks in the NFL, so I refuse to bet on them, and I hope the Cardinals beat the hell out of them. But Aaron Rodgers beats the Cardinals every time he plays the Cardinals, so do not underestimate them in that aspect. Let's see. What do we have next on the slate here? We are going to go to Saints Panthers. What a boring ass game. Nobody, who in the hell?
I wouldn't say it was boring. I would rather say nobody cares.
Yeah,
More so, it was a good game. It was what 23-22.
yeah,
Bryce Young
exactly.
gets the first win of the year. Um, my biggest takeaway from that game is, man, the Saints are bad. They just traded away Marshawn Lattimore.
Yeah.
They have a ton of injuries here and there. Kamara is still not healthy, 100%. Kamara had a monster game. Don't get me
Yeah,
wrong. He had like
he had 35 touches in that game if you count up receptions and rushing.
yeah,
35 touches for somebody that's not 100%. Chris Olave, we don't know. They're talking about putting him on IR. How bad that concussion is.
yeah, yeah. Um, Granted, I was appreciative of how bad the Saints' other players are besides Kamara in fantasy, because he put up a ton of fantasy points without even scoring a touchdown.
Yeah,
Um, so aside from the monster that Alvin Kamara is, that was an awful game by the rest of the crew.
yeah,
The Saints did have a chance to come down the field and win it on the last possession of the game. They had terrible play calling, terrible just sense of urgency. There was none. Um, and the Panthers did what they needed to do. Chuba Hubbard had a really good game on the ground
yeah,
with that last minute touchdown to put them up, which ended up winning them the game. And their defense, I mean, it's one of the worst defenses in the league. But when you have a Saints team that is just not clicking on any aspect, you just got to
and
do
they're
enough
broke.
just to keep you in. Yeah,
Yeah,
they're
and
dead
they're
broke.
broke. They're like what 70 mil over the cap this coming year.
Yeah, and they just
How?
re-signed Kamara. Like they're just digging them deeper and
So,
deeper.
do you think they stick with Derek Carr next year?
Oh, no, I think he's gone, man. Like
Yeah.
I
Do
think
you,
he
okay,
just
so
makes
if
too
we
much
think he's
sense.
gone next year, do we start Spencer Rattler for the rest of the season and just see what the fuck you have?
No, you know what you have in Spencer Rattler, right? When
We knew
Carr
what we
was
had
out.
in Spencer Rattler at OU. We don't even need to
Yeah,
go into South Carolina.
yeah, yeah. You knew what you had. It's that hadn't shown you much. I think they put up fucking 9 points a game the games
Yeah.
he had started this season. So I think you're paying Carr, so just play him. Just
Just hope you get
you're
enough
two
fans in the fucking, in the stadium to, make some money because ain't nobody going to show up if Spencer Rattler's out there.
2-7 and you're that deep of a hole. You just call the season,
Yeah.
get a good draft pick and just kind of build on that. But yeah, I mean, ever since they blew out the Cowboys week 2, they just have lost every single game. Just
Yeah. They're
it's been
terrible.
terrible. Sorry, Saints fans. We don't mean to shit on you so much, but
Yeah, your team's beat up, and Chris
yeah,
Olave can't stay on the field. I think he's played in 3 games, if that, 3.5, maybe the whole season.
yeah.
And then on the Panthers side of the ball, you got rid of all your weapons. You got Adam Thielen that's hurt. You just traded away Deontay Johnson, so you have
And don't forget, they got a fourth rounder.
Jonathan Mingo. Yeah,
So,
Jonathan Mingo, which could go either way. I'm not sure how I feel about that one, right? Because you got a second round prospect that they probably were really high on, but who has not had a quarterback to throw him the ball. So we're not really sure what we're getting out of Mingo.
yeah, we
But a
still
fucking
won't
fourth?
know. Yeah,
A fourth? D
yeah,
Hop went for a fourth.
yeah. Cokeheads eat this week. Yeah, no, D Hop went for 4th. Deontay Johnson went for a 5th. It's just
Yeah.
like what are we doing, Cowboys? Like it fucking
Who's the
pains me.
cokeheads?
I have no idea.
Who's the cokeheads and what are they eating?
Yeah, Panthers is out of weapons. Out of I mean, I don't understand on the other flip side of the Jonathan Mingo trade. Why trade for him now when Dak's on IR? Still doesn't have a quarterback thrown to him.
I'm gonna be honest.
So,
If I'm the Cowboys, we'll get into that a little bit. But if Dak's injury is a little more serious than they thought, sit his ass the rest of the year. See what Trey Lance can do, and see if you can trade him away for a fucking six at the end of the season.
yeah,
Why not?
yeah. Well, this is his contract year, so he'll be gone in free agency.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Jalen Coker. Oh, geez, the number 3 wide receiver on the Panthers.
Yikes.
That's Jerry Jones for you. Yeah, I know that, dude. I
Right.
feel bad for that team. We'll get into that. You can't hide what happens when you don't do anything in the offseason.
Yep.
Next on the slate, we have some better games coming up. I promise. Commanders at Giants. What did you see here?
I saw a typical game for the Commanders coming out. Uh, very strong. Jaden Daniels, Joe. I mean, he just did only throw for 209 yards and 2 touchdowns, but that's about his normal stat line. I think he throws a little bit more, but decent run game from Rodriguez, backup running back,
Yeah,
52 yards on 11 carries. Noah Brown, big game, 5 receptions, 60 yards. So they had their fair share of tossing it around and getting the right touches to the right people at the right time. I think the score um, is 27-22 Commanders way. I think the score is a little bit closer than what the actual game was with the last what within the last
yeah,
2 minutes there was a Theo Johnson touchdown.
yeah.
Um,
Exactly. They scored
so
12 other 22 points came in the fourth quarter. Like
yeah, this
that's
was this
nuts.
game was never in question. My favorite stat line of this game was Terry McLaurin having 2 catches for like 12 yards, 2 yards, like something stupid and 2
Yeah,
touchdowns.
yeah. Two
Um,
touchdowns.
Love him because I started him this week in fantasy and love him for that. It gave me an easy 16 points, but did nothing outside of that. So you don't like
Yeah,
to see your number one only going for 2 yards and 2 catches, but when they're touchdowns, you can't really complain. Um, the Giants are getting the Giants. Like Hawkins is saying here, yeah, they need a run game. Um, I mean, they have a good running back core with Singletary, and then more so of late, Tracy, right? I
yeah.
believe that's his
Tyrone
name.
Tracy's been getting the
Yeah,
bulk of the carries. Yeah,
they're both good backs. I think more so they should lean on Tracy the rest of the year since Singletary's a little bit banged up, a little older. Just go with a hot hand, I think, back there. But
yeah.
man,
I
this
think that's
this
what they're trying to do. It's just I don't know if it's the play calling or what, but they need to get Danny Dimes out of the pocket on designed out of the pocket plays.
yeah.
You
Yeah.
know,
Just a
Malik
couple years
Neighbors is
ago,
still
yeah,
getting.
yeah,
Malik Neighbors is still getting his though. Now that he's back to getting his 9 receptions a game. Granted, it wasn't for the biggest game he's had. It was only for 59 yards, but he'll come back, and we just need somebody else on this team to step up. Darius Slayton did okay. Wandale, they throw screens to him. That's about it. He averages 3 yards a freaking catch. So I just don't have any faith in this Giants team. They are 2-7, which makes sense, but that Commanders team, dude, they're on a roll. I don't know that I put them on the same echelon as I do, like let's say the Lions.
Oh,
You
no,
know,
no,
yeah.
no.
But I mean, shit, they're only one game out.
Yeah, yeah,
Singletary made a career off of catching out of the backfield. All right, let's not downplay that.
yeah,
Singletary can catch out of the backfield.
yeah.
Um, but yeah, divisional game, a little closer than it should have been. But Commanders had that game. It was 21-7 going into half. They had that game in the bag from the get go. Next, another fun one.
That one was the
Bills,
fun one.
Dolphins. They made it a game. I tell you
Yeah.
what.
Yeah, those interdivisional games are always fun, especially when it's the Bills and Dolphins.
Yeah.
Came
And
down to a
impossible to bet
last-second field
on.
goal. Very impossible. I stayed far away from that with my money
Uh-huh.
as possible. Um, yeah, it comes down to a last-second Tyler Bass 61-yarder, which is still crazy. Like, I
Yeah.
feel like the Dolphins showed, hey, we can hang in there with really good teams.
Yeah.
Yeah, Tua, like Hawkins is saying, Tua is the engine of that offense. You
Yeah.
saw what what happened when he was not there, and we're putting up 27 points against one of the better defenses in the NFL and taking them to the final seconds of the game.
Let it be known, Cardinals beat the Dolphins with Tua, but it was his first game back. We'll give him time.
Yeah,
But
they have to throw that in there.
so glad that he was hurt
Yeah.
leading up to that though.
Yeah. Yeah. A-Chain had a really good game again. It seems like whenever A-Chain and Tua are in the backfield together, they're just a really good duo. Tyreek looks like he's back to his old self since he's got someone bombing the ball to him. 4 receptions for 80 yards. I mean, this was a typical Dolphins game. If you're talking about the Dolphins of last year, where put a bunch of points, you get your yardage out of your people, just come up short to the better team in the Bills.
Yeah.
But I mean, I liked what I saw. I mean, the Bills, man, I think the Bills came out hot. I want to say, let me go through the game log here. I mean, it was 10-10 or 10-6.
It was close pretty much the whole way through.
It was
pretty close.
You know what? I remember this now. Josh Allen had a terrible first half, and more much so a terrible first quarter. But the ability, what separates good quarterbacks from or great quarterbacks in this league from good quarterbacks is the ability to bounce back mid-game, make the adjustments, and come back and still put up not only the win, but I think he went into half with like 50 yards passing and then a fumble or interception.
So I have no shares of Amari Cooper, but was he out this game? I noticed he's not. I know he's not on the stat sheet, but I have no shares of him in fantasy, so I don't really care for Amari Cooper stats. But I noticed he was not on the stat sheet, so either he just didn't get the ball. Oh, yeah, so he was out. All right, sweet.
Yeah, he was out.
So that game probably could have gone a little bit, more favored to the Bills if Amari was playing, because if your leading receiver is Ray Davis, it's like Josh Allen is that offense. James Cook didn't really have himself a day. 10 carries for 44 yards. I mean, the average is there, but only 10 carries is not exactly what you're wanting to see. I like the Dolphins. I think they're going to go on a run. I don't know that they're going to make the playoffs, but I think they'll probably end up 9-8, 10-6, somewhere around there. 10-7, something like that. They'll lose maybe one more game, but if they get back firing on all cylinders now that they have Tua, I expect them to be back where they were.
You think they win? Man, like we're going into week 10. They're 2-6. You think they win almost every game?
I think they're going to get close. I think they're going to be in every game. Yeah, Miami's defense is underrated. I agree. I think that they're going to be in a lot more games once Tua starts getting back in the swing of things. I mean, shit, Tua threw 3 incomplete passes that game.
Yeah.
Like once he gets into full swing, I think he's going to be just fine. And then, they that whole offense is based around timing. So he hasn't been able to practice, but for like the last 2 weeks on the timing and stuff like that. So I think they're only going to get better. But when you run into a wagon like the Bills, you're just destined to fail.
Yeah.
I don't know. I hope they can squeak into the playoffs, because it's just a sneaky fun team to watch. And I'm tired of watching the Chiefs, squeak out ugly ass wins. So I think I would like to try to see the Dolphins go out there and put 70 up on somebody, just because of how much speed they have on that offense. But that
Bills 70. I think the Dolphins
say 70 to
20. I think 20.
So. Yeah.
And the crazy thing, I saw it was a meme for the election, but it was that game and how they got their last touchdown. It was 70-13 with like 3 minutes left in the game. The Broncos got a kick return touchdown to make it 20, which I think is even hilarious, like more hilarious than what it actually is. But I digress.
Next, Chargers Browns. We knew this was coming. Well, Browns come off of a huge emotional win over the Ravens, but at some point you got to realize you still have a backup quarterback in Jameis Winston playing this game. It's, as expected, this Chargers team, we forget how good this Chargers team is when they're actually playing and running the ball efficiently. And it's just a ground and pound team, man. Justin Herbert did really well, though, threw for 282 to Quentin Johnson, of all people, had 118. I didn't realize he could catch the ball. Yeah. I thought he was just a Julio Jones that just had brick hands. I didn't know what the hell was going on.
To be fair, he only caught 4 balls, but they went for $118.
Yeah,
so.
just insane. J.K.
Yeah.
Dobbins came back and actually started playing football again, which I'm happy for. 2 tuds for him. He looked really good. And they still don't even have Gus Bus yet. Eventually, he's probably going to come back, and then they're going to have the two-headed monster that they've hoped for. But as the Ravens found out, you can have J.K. and Gus Bus, but you can't have both of them in the same game. One of them's going to
Correct.
get hurt.
Correct. Yeah, no, this I think the Chargers are a sneaky good team. I think everyone always forgets about them just
They're
because
5
of
and
like
3.
yeah, they're
They're
5
2
and
games
3
above
this year.
500.
Like I think everyone's just kind of going off of what happened last year. They
Yeah.
were not a good team last year, but I mean, I remember every single week that has passed this year, it's everyone's like, "Oh, the Chargers aren't winning that one. Oh, the Chargers aren't winning that one," and they come out and
Yeah.
put out a show and win.
Yeah.
This time in convincing fashion, as they should have against the slumping Browns. Um, yeah, man, the Browns back to them old selves. I think Jameis through 2 games. How many games has he started? 2 games, 3 games?
This is his second game.
Yeah, so I think after 2 games, I saw a stat line where Jameis is like third in the league in like almost interceptions, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, let's not forget that they should have lost to the Ravens because Kyle Hamilton had the interception in his hand and fumbled it for like 4 steps, but the camera angle was showing the backside of him, so everybody thought he had the pick and he was about to run away with it, and he falls down and the ball trickles out. We're like, oh shit, they're alive. Next play, post route,
Tillman.
40 yards for the touchdown.
Yeah.
So they should have lost that game.
Yeah.
And Jamo threw 3 picks. You knew it was coming. As Jerry was saying over here, Chargers have a good defense. They do. That's what they're
Mhm.
built on, is their defense and run game because of the good coaching.
I
They
like that.
have a team. They have an identity. They know what they're going to do. They don't even care. They have Lad McConkey as their I guess number 1 target, and that's what they're going to do. They're going to run it down your throat. They're probably going to try to get a tight end coming up soon, and they're literally just going to run the ball 90% of the time and see what happens from there. And realistically, it's what the Steelers do. Ball control, offense, and defense. Yeah, exactly. It's what the Steelers do. That's how the Steelers are above 500 every year. They have no quarterback. They have typically, not a very good run game because their O-line's been ass, but somehow they have ball control, offense, and, let TJ Watt cook. And that's how the Steelers stay above 500. So, props to Harbaugh putting this team at 5-3, which is a sneaky 5-3. People forget that.
Mhm. Are they first in that division?
Who?
The Chargers.
No, they still have the Chiefs that are undefeated.
Oh, I forgot about the Chiefs.
They are second, though. No, they're tied for second with the
the Broncos.
Imagine if they had a good possession. Yeah, dude, that's all they need.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they have Lad McConkey, but if they had, like, I don't know, if they had a 10-year younger Keenan Allen, they probably wouldn't have let the, Keenan Allen of now walk, because that's all he does is just route run to perfection and get the DB on his heels to do an out route when you need a 3rd and 8. Boom, first down, keep the sticks moving, run 3 more fucking times. I think that they're 1 receiver away, and then I think they're 1 really good tight end away. If they had a Trey McBride, this team would be
Oh yeah.
this team would be fucking ungodly. Other than that, though, the Browns they're the Browns. They're selling. They're selling everybody. Amari's been gone now for a couple of weeks. Nick Chubb did not look good, but that O-line's not good to begin with. Nick Chubb, 15 carries, 39 yards, probably one of his lowest in his careers in terms of average at 2.6.
Yep.
Just not good. I mean, you can load the box because who in the hell are you throwing it to? You've got Elijah Moore who's going to do your jet sweeps and shit like that, but they don't have a good, Cedric Tillman is your number 1. Like, that's a number 3 wide receiver on some teams.
On most teams.
Yeah. Hayden Hurst is their tight end.
Yep. Which he's a shell of his former self.
Yeah, exactly. He's up there. They still may have Will Disley's still there as well. So they've got a couple of mediocre tight ends, but let's say, if they had the number 9 pick with the 5, right? Because I still think Joe Alt was a good pick, but if they were having to get Alt and like Bowers, that team would be ungodly.
Mhm. Yeah, that'd be insane.
All right. Next, we have the game that saved my parlay.
That fucking game.
Oh man, what a game it was. God, yeah, two terrible teams just duking
Yeah,
it out, just
yeah.
UFL style, just terrible.
Yeah, man. It was a pretty hard game to watch. I mean, it did make for an exciting ending as it did go into overtime, and the Titans were able to edge out the field goal at the end there. I mean, to their credit, they did walk down the field in overtime.
Yeah,
Um, but everything up until that point, it was 17-17. Like against, I mean, the New England defense is not bad. They have gotten worse over the last couple of weeks with gifting um Kansas City Josh Uche for nothing. But they're arguably best pass rusher they have on the team had on the team. Um,
had.
yeah, had this was a field goal city. I'm looking at the box score right now. I'm looking at a 9-yard pass to Nick Vennett, whoever that is. Ramondre touchdown, field goal, field goal, field goal, field goal, and then a 6-yard pass, 5-yard pass, like touchdowns. Like this game
Yeah.
was not entertaining in the least. Uh, Drake May had 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions. Typical rookie, type of game for him. I do like what I see out of Drake May. I think a lot of people do. Yep. See, um, Drake May does have some magic. He had a really good touchdown. I think I want to say the touchdown in the second quarter,
Yeah, that and the one that, as
the
time
third
expired
quarter.
in the fourth.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking of. That
Yeah,
one
as
was really
he,
good.
evaded and
Yeah.
got it out. Yeah. The big thing that I liked about Drake May in this game was that he threw to he threw to 10 different receivers, but 9 receptions or, 9 different receivers caught the ball.
Hmm.
So that's what you want to see, check your reads and, different progressions and try to get the ball to different places. He's a rookie. He threw 2 picks. We knew that was going to happen. He's a rookie throwing 41 times. He's going to throw 2 picks. That's going to happen. But the fact that he didn't target just the tight ends or just the running backs, the fact that Kendrick Bourne had himself a little bit of a day, Demario Douglas had 7 receptions. Like the fact that he's going through his reads and hitting different people are only going to make this offense better in the long run. And if they had any sort of wide receiver talent, this team would be considerably better. But when Kendrick Bourne, who's 28 years old and a perennial third string wide receiver, Demario Douglas can't hold on to the damn ball, Jalen Polk can't stay on the field, Kayshawn Boot, we don't know what the hell we're getting.
Yeah.
I have a lot of faith in Drake May, and honestly, if I'm the Patriots and I'm sitting here at 2-7, I think I sit him for the rest of the year and just let him learn, so I don't murder my quarterback, my franchise quarterback.
Yeah.
We know what we got. He's looking really good, but he's just getting beat up. But the touchdown at the very end of the game was something very cool. Definitely saved me my parlay. I took the Patriots plus 3.5. Just
Oh,
because I was like, this Titans team's not any better. I figure it's going to be a field goal game, and sure as shit, it was it was a 7 point game. As time expired, tied it up. Titans went down, kicked field goal. I cover the spread, so
yeah.
pretty happy about that one. Mason Rudolph is Mason Rudolph. He looked exactly like he did when he was the Steelers. He's going to be all right. He's not a terrible quarterback. If you were to rank him in the starters, he's probably, I don't know, deep in the 20s. I don't know if I'd put him in the 30 range, but he's not bad. Tony Pollard had himself a day as always. He seems to be doing really well. Calvin Ridley's doing good. And then this wide receiver that keeps showing up on the stat sheet, Nick Westbrook
And
Ikine.
Heineke.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Ikine,
I
whatever.
think he came over from Jacksonville. I remember seeing that name in Jacksonville, if I'm not
No, you're
mistaken.
thinking of Dede Westbrook from like 5, 6 years ago. I don't
Am
know. This
I?
dude's a. r-
If there's any Jags fans or not Jags,
Oh
I'm
well,
sorry,
he's
Titans
27,
fans.
so he definitely played somewhere else. Let me see. Where did this dude come from? No, he's been with Tennessee his whole career.
Huh.
Fucking
Well,
not doing much, but
he had
he's
himself had
been there.
a receiving
Yeah,
touchdown.
ever since they got rid of D Hop, they seem to be getting the ball all over the place, and he seems to be kind of showing up. So happy for him for that. Hopefully he can, 27-year-old, never too late to become a good wide receiver too.
Yeah. Pop Douglas getting 9 targets in this game is crazy.
Yeah,
Also costing them the game by, fumbling
yeah, that is
when
true.
he shouldn't have. It should have been a touchdown, but that's crazy. Yeah, I mean, we knew this game how it was going to go. I myself had the Patriots winning just because I feel like they were less ass as of recent.
Their defense is not bad.
Yeah, it's just, I mean, when you go in overtime as an underdog, 3.5-point underdog, you can't be mad that you lost by a field goal.
Yeah,
So
I agree. And just two shit teams. Sorry. Patriots, I don't feel bad for you. You had a 20-year
yeah,
run. You guys were good.
yeah,
Titans,
fuck
you
you.
guys should have never let go of Mike Vrabel. That was y'all's mistake. So
Yeah.
can't feel bad for you. All right, Gooch. You know what time it is.
Oh.
It's that time.
It's that
Go on and let
time.
him. Go on and do the thing. Do the thing. Say
Say
the
the
thing.
thing. Say the thing. Say the thing. It's our year.
We
It's
done
our year.
boys.
We them boys.
Oh
Fuck,
God.
man. I hate fucking Jerry Jones with a dying, burning passion.
Let it out, Goody.
Everything is wrong in this world. Ted Cruz is still the fucking
Oh my
senator
God.
of Texas, and fucking Jerry Jones is still alive and running my goddamn football team.
Oh,
I hate it here.
I hate it. To be fair, everybody got hurt on an already hurt team.
Yeah.
Let me know what happened because you watched this game way more than I did. I didn't watch this for shit.
I watched this game in despair. Let me tell you, I was sitting right here, right in this seat, with the 12 pack loaded up right next to me because I was ready to be hurt.
Yeah.
You know what? The box score shows 27-21 final score. Granted, Jalen Tolbert had a 4-yard touchdown with a minute left. So I mean, the game was out of hand by the time Dak got out of the game. But Dak wasn't having a bad game by any means. He
He
was
actually
moving the
didn't throw a
sticks.
whole lot. He was
No,
18 for 24, so I mean it's not
yeah,
terrible.
yeah. I think through the third quarter, he had only missed one pass.
Yeah.
Like at one point, he was like 12 or 13. All right, Hawkins, we're not pulling up your fucking comments, buddy.
Oh, sorry.
Take this shit down.
No.
All right. Yeah. We're not gonna look. You just wait till we get to the Eagles, all right? And we talk about that terrorist of a head coach that you have, all right? All right.
Oh,
Listen. It's the same story over and over with the Cowboys this year. No run game, even though Rico Dowdle had 75 yards on 12 carries.
12 carries.
He broke a big one, but outside of that, you don't have anything going for you. The fucking play calling is atrocious. Just situational football calls just do not exist in Dallas. Under Mike McCarthy, the dude calls a fake punt having your punter throwing it to your backup tight end when you're in the negative zone. You're already down. The Cowboys are just playing from behind from the jump of this game. There was a bunch of missed opportunities. Tolbert stepping out of bounds on he caught a punt from like the 20-yard line and had an opportunity to take it all the way, but steps out at the 40. Miss out on that touchdown. You miss out on CD after he got hurt with his shoulder, dropping a touchdown in the end zone, falling down. You have a missed touchdown with fucking Turpin again. Turpin's a really good return man. Just quit that shit. All right.
Sorry. That's on me.
Quit that shit. Yeah, the story of this game was yes, everyone was hurt. Yes, everyone was hurt, but the Cowboys were in it. They had the opportunities, the chances were there, despite having terrible coaching, despite having no run game, despite having terrible O linemen. Shut the fuck up. This dude's an Aaron Rodgers fan, by the way. So
Ew.
he really can't talk to me right now.
Ew.
When Jake Ferguson's your leading receiver, 7 catches, 71 yards, there's a problem down when it's not CD. So thank you, Hawkins. But yeah, Kirk Cousins had a decent game, 222 yards. Same stat line as fucking Dak. If you look at it, he just had the bigger downfield shots, and he has actual receivers around him that can catch him. 19 of 24 for Cousins and 18 of 24 for Dak, and Dak went out in the beginning of the fourth. 3 touchdowns for Big Kirko. Bijan, of course, we knew it was going to have a game. Mooney had himself a game, 5 catches for 88 yards and a touchdown.
We gotta start talking about Mooney more. We talk
I've
about it a
been
little bit
talking
for
about Mooney.
DFS.
Yeah.
For the Friday podcast listeners, we do talk about Mooney. as a good play a lot of times for DFS because of how cheap he is. But man, leading the team in yards. Bijan had more receptions out of just little, swing routes and shit like that. But 88 yards and a touchdown for, what was a written off wide receiver for, the Bears because Justin Fields can't hit a deep ball. Like, man, he is looking good for that team.
Yeah, and it's only gonna get better. So say goodbye to the days of Darnell Mooney being less than $6,000
Yeah.
with the $6,000 on DFS, with the subtraction of London. So yeah, he's only going to be the focal point. I've said it since probably week 2. I'm not even kidding.
Yeah.
If we can go back later and check the pod for that week, but or since then, I've been a Darnell
Jamie, pull
Mooney.
that shit up. Yeah, Jamie, pull that shit up.
Hey, Jamie, pull that shit up, bro. Pull that shit up. But yeah, I've been saying that Darnell Mooney is like their deep weapon, like their 15 to 25 yard. You need a route for that, that long of a yardage. That is your guy, and he's always open. Like he is,
Dude, those deep 20-yard crossers where he's
yeah,
right behind the linebackers and still running like a cross and,
yep,
and cutting in between the safeties. Dude, he's always there.
yeah. So he killed the Cowboys. I mean, Cowboys have no secondary. Donovan Wilson needs to be tried for being a fraud. That man is fucking terrible. Can't fill a gap. Can't stay in coverage. Tackling on defense is bad. There's no passing off of on the DBs when there's a 3 stack and you got 2 guys over there and a safety over top covering the trips. Is
So my thing with the Cowboys is for the last 20 years, as far as I can go back, the Cowboys have always been undisciplined when it comes to tackling. For some reason, I don't know if it's all the hype and fame of being, with the star on your helmet or what, but even growing up in the Dallas area, they've always just been terrible at tackling. Zimmerman comes in, it's going to be a fundamental football team, and we're still missing open tackles. What in the hell is going on with this defense?
just fucking scared, bro. There's no toughness on that defense, especially since Micah's been out. I think the only bright spot you have on defense nowadays is DeMarvion Overshown, who's technically playing in his rookie year. He did tear his ACL in preseason last year out of Texas. That man is just a freight train, like downhill fast. Yeah, Dan Quinn like just schemed. Like Dan Quinn is built like for the Cowboys defense. Like
Yeah.
2 really good corners at all times. Kalen Carson, the rookie corner that they drafted this year, has shown flashes of being a great coverage corner, but most of the time he's just getting beat on double moves. And he's been out. So Jordan Lewis has been a really good corner. They moved him to the slot this year, but he's moved back out since Kalen Carson got hurt. He's now hurt again. So
Let me ask you this. What is the Cowboys record with Dan Quinn and Cliff Kingsbury instead of Big Mike and Zimmerman?
at least 5-3.
You think so?
It's at least it's at least 5-3 at best. At best 7-1, but it's going to be right there with the Eagles, maybe a game behind the Eagles as always. Whenever both teams are having good seasons, they're always once ahead of another. And the last 3 weeks of football, the Eagles have turned it up a notch.
So who do the Cowboys go for this offseason?
Every fucking position, bro.
No. Coach wise, because we're gonna assume Mike McCarthy's gone.
Well, that's best case scenario that McCarthy's gone. I don't think it'll happen.
Jerry does have a very long leash for coaches for some reason.
He just loves the control, man. I would like to see the Cowboys go out and get the only coach out there with 6 Super Bowl rings.
Can't do it though because then Jerry won't have control.
Exactly. That's why this team will never be great as long as that man is alive. Yes, his son is still there even after Jerry goes away, but his son's more of less of a spine on him than okay. Jimmy Johnson, right? What happened?
Leave? Yeah. Why did Jimmy Johnson leave? It was because him and fucking Jerry Jones wouldn't get the fuck out of Jimmy Johnson's business and wouldn't let him do football.
Yep.
Let Jerry go be owner. Go do owner stuff. Let Jimmy Johnson do football stuff. Cowboys could have fucking won Super Bowls all the way up until 1999 probably if Jimmy Johnson stayed.
Yep.
But
so I don't know. I don't think he's gone, unfortunately.
Yeah, he's gonna play the sympathy card and be like, "Oh, my whole team was hurt." That's
Yeah.
why I called a terrible game. Is because I had nobody on the field. That's what it is. That Falcons team, they're sneaky good. I don't think that they're gonna make it past the divisional round in the playoffs. I think they win their division though, just because the Bucks are all hurt. But the team's clicking. They run and then they play action with Kirko, and somebody's gonna be downfield deep. Um, who is the offensive coordinator for the Cowboys? Do they even
Um,
have one, or is it just big old
but
Mike?
well, Big Mike is calling the plays.
Yeah,
Let me see. I got it
they may
right here.
just have like a QB coach or like a an offensive, I don't know, QA kind of coach. But
It's some.
old Maiko is
It's
definitely calling the plays.
fucking that's his name. Brian Schottenheimer. Fucking old white dude. He was the fucking he was the special teams coach for a
Yeah,
bunch of years as of recent, but yeah, he doesn't
yeah.
do anything.
You got to get rid of all the old heads.
Yeah.
Youth is sweeping the nation. You got to get the youth. All of the teams that are winning have pretty young coaches or first time coaches. I
Yeah.
just the Cowboys can't match up to whatever Kyle Shanahan, Sean McVay, all of these other teams are doing. Like it just doesn't look good. It's the same stuff, and it's just not working. Next on the slate, Raiders Bengals. This one went exactly as we thought it would. The Raiders are in fucking shambles. Bengals decided to play football. Joe
Yep.
Burrow five tutties, one pick, which was kind of surprising for the fact that T. Higgins did not play, and every time T. Higgins has not played this season, their offense is usually pretty slow. That was not the case this game. Chase Brown had himself an absolute day. Gasecki had himself an absolute day. Joe Burrow threw the ball to every goddamn person on that offense. Jamar Chase didn't even have himself a day. He just was just kind of mid. But if everybody on your team is eating, you guys are going to win. And they're playing a shit team. I've been saying this. I don't think Antonio Pierce is a head coach. I think he should be a defensive coordinator at best. I think he's already lost that locker room. That team's collapsing. They don't. Yeah, I just don't like that team at all. And the Bengals, apparently Joe Burrow is now out there yelling at players and stuff, telling them to get off their ass, and apparently starting to be more of a leader. And that's probably what they needed to start winning some ball games. So they're one game out of 500, but
Yep.
man, they have a fucking road to climb to sneak into a wild card with the Ravens absolutely on a war tear. What'd you
Yeah,
see?
they definitely started off very slow the first half of the season. Joe Burrow, I think after this game was or I think after last week was like, look, we got to win 7 out of 9. I'm not saying it's impossible. We can fucking do it. Yeah, no, I was actually kind of blown away with how well the Bengals came out. Granted, it is the Raiders. I did take the Raiders to cover the +8. And for the entirety of the game, it wasn't close as 24-41.
Yeah,
um, yeah, Joey B looked like that Super Bowl year that he had. This game was crazy. I mean, shit, even fucking uh, like he took off for a bunch of runs. I mean, he had 3 carries for 11 yards, and I'm sure some of those were for first downs whenever he needed it.
yeah,
Yeah, Chase Brown finally came out. I know everyone in the fantasy community has been Chase Brown, Chase Brown, Chase Brown, and he finally showed that he was worth the hype. 27 carries on 120 yards. Um, really good stat line for a young back like that. Yeah, man, this Joey B just carved them up. I don't, the only one I was impressed with on the Raiders was Jacoby Myers having a good game. He went over 100 yards.
yeah.
Um, Other than that, I mean, Zamir White had a touchdown in the opening drive or the first quarter. Gardner Minshew was just not worthy of starting a game in the NFL. He
That's
had been
Pro
a
Bowl. That's Pro Bowler Gardner Minshew that we're talking about here. All
what
right,
year was that? What year was that?
last year.
What?
Last year, Gardner Minshew was a Pro Bowler.
What team was he on
The
last year?
Colts.
No way, dude.
Okay. Jamie, pull
I
that shit
believe you.
up.
I believe you.
Jamie, pull that
But
shit up.
that's wild. Was he a fill in for somebody?
Hmm.
Oh yeah, there you go. Okay.
That doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. He went.
Yeah, he went. I mean, yeah. Like, all right.
Yeah, and I mean, shit, he took a dumpster fire Colts team to pretty decent. The Raiders are just not good. There's just nothing good going on with that team as expected. I don't know why they signed the interim head coach of Antonio Pierce, and we're like, yeah, this is the guy we want in our locker room, and then he's not even referring to Devontae Adams as his name. He's just calling him 17. It's like, okay,
Yeah.
this is just not a good culture. These are adults. Like, you can refer to somebody as their name. Like, he's just being petty at this point. And then that team is just showing, and you could just tell, like, this team's, they're checked out. Max Crosby's, he's a Raider for life, but man, I would love to see him somewhere else. And he's, if they're always down, he's always in pass rush mode, so you can't hate him because he's going to get his.
Yep.
At least you hope he does. But yeah, the Bengals look good. I hope the Bengals get on track because the NFL is better when Joe Burrow is playing well.
Yeah.
It's just fun. Said
Plus, it
Raiders
makes
about
it,
to
yeah,
start week 11. Yeah, straight from our fucking practice squad signed by the Raiders, and now he's gonna start for him next week.
yeah, that's wild.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I would love to see the Bengals come up in that mix because that just makes the AFC playoff picture just that much more interesting.
Oh, of
Uh,
course.
like
Yeah.
we were
I,
saying
I
earlier,
want I want Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, Joe Burrow, and Lamar every year. I want to see it.
yeah, maybe Tua, with
Yeah.
that what we've known as a prolific offense.
Yeah.
Um, man, yeah, you're getting at least 5 of 8 AFC teams that have really, really fucking good quarterbacks,
Yeah.
and I need to see that shit.
Yeah. And in the NFC, man, they are just gritty teams. But before we get to an NFC game here, we have the Broncos and Ravens.
Hawk,
Where is Jake so he can
where is that
defend
fucking?
his fucking shit team? This
There is no
team,
defending this. There is
God
no defending this.
damn, the Broncos broncoed incredibly hard. You can't even really blame Bo Nix. Like, he threw one pick, but he threw for 220 yards. But that
He
fucking
also caught a
defense,
touchdown.
yeah. But man, that fucking defense was atrocious.
It was bad. It was really bad. I'm glad I sat their defense in fantasy this week. I made that.
Yeah, you would have
I
been in
made
the
the decision.
negatives if you started
Yeah,
them. That's for
yeah,
sure.
yeah. I'm glad I made that decision early on and started somebody else. Um, yeah, man, not much to say other than just fucking pure dominance by the Ravens, who are now 6-3 after the game. Derrick Henry, 2 touchdowns on the ground, just
Just ran all over him.
a fucking
Said
domination.
Broncos defense, never heard of them. Fuck you.
Yeah, fuck you. PS2 who? That's
Yeah,
just
never
outdated.
heard of them.
Yeah.
Lamar threw more touchdowns than he did incompletions. Or actually, it was the same. He threw 3 incompletions and 3 touchdowns. He threw 16 for 19 for 280 and 3.
Just
It's like,
carved him up.
just carved him up. He didn't even run. You didn't even have their offense at full fucking capacity. Lamar was like, I don't need to run. We have Derrick Henry, dude.
Yeah.
I had to do shit.
Yeah. And the cherry on top was he finally threw and got the connection to Zay Flowers, like I had been
Yeah.
calling for the last month. Because every single time
Yeah.
we do DFS or we talk about like wide receivers, starter sit, I'm always and someone brings up Zay Flowers, I'm like, start Zay Flowers every single week. I think he's a great starting option because you look at what he did this week against what we thought was a really good Broncos defense. It was supposed to be 1 or 2 ranked defense in the league. Puts up 5 catches, 127 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Like the man just fucking went off. Like,
Yeah.
This team's gonna be tough to beat as the year goes on.
I'm projecting a Lions Ravens Super Bowl. It just makes the most sense to me. They're the 2 most dominant teams. And hopefully they don't tucker out come week 17, wild card, divisional round, stuff like that. I hope that they can, stick with it and stay, healthy, because these are the 2 best teams between the Ravens and Lions. And
Mhm.
they showed it right here because the Broncos have been in gritty games, holding teams that are supposed to have good offenses to very low scoring games. And the Ravens are like, nah, fuck that. We have Derrick Henry. Good luck.
Yeah. Yeah. I think we finally saw from the Broncos, which I've been saying this not only as a Broncos hater, because fuck you, Jake, with every ounce of my being. Fuck you, Jake. I've been saying this all year or since the Broncos have been winning this year. The only reason why the Broncos are winning is because Bo Nix isn't making mistakes and their defense is holding whoever they're playing to 17 points or less. And
Yeah.
to win in this NFL nowadays, you need to put up at least 19 to win a game. And when your defense is doing their job, you don't have to make many decisions or bad decisions to not win a game. And that's what the season has been for the Broncos this year. Like I mean, I'll come out and say Bo Nix has come out better than I thought he would be. I thought he was just going to be another, waste of a pick. But I mean, Bo Nix isn't half bad. They just got outclassed, outcoached, outmanned. You just can't stop the Ravens.
Let it be known, last Friday's show, Jake was like, on DFS portion of it, towards the end of the show, he was like, "We're gonna put Bo Nix in here no matter what." How'd that turn out? I think he had 6 points, six fantasy points.
I thought he had more than that. No, he caught that touchdown. So I think he had like 14.
So he had 12.
He had
Oh,
like
okay.
12 or 14.
Yeah.
Let's see. He had league. He rode my bench this week because
Terrible.
I had a feeling.
Yeah.
Where's
Let's
this?
throw Bo Nix out there against a high-powered Ravens offense, so that way he can just get fucking creamed every play.
Oh, he ended up with 17.7.
Okay, don't know how, but because he ran a little bit. He had 30 yards on the ground. That's
Yeah.
why.
Yeah.
That's why.
And the reception, you get
Yeah.
7 points for a fucking touchdown.
Yeah. Whatever.
Yeah. Thanks, Hawkins.
Not happy
Thanks for
with it.
playing on.
Yeah.
Hawkins, you are if you watch JRE, you are now new Jamie. So every time we need to fact check something, you're there. But yeah, this went exactly how I thought it was going to be. Actually, it shocked me a little bit because of the score.
And the Ravens were 9.5-point favorites, and they were like, "That's it. Fuck you guys. We're gonna win by 31."
I also took the Broncos to cover. So the two highest spreads this week, I chose underdogs to cover, and they did not, in underwhelming fashion.
Yeah. Next on the slate, we have the Cardinals at the Bears. All right, they are who we thought they were. All right,
Are they?
They are who we thought they were. The Cardinals come out and absolutely win in dominating fashion. They probably had to have averaged 12 yards a fucking carry on this Bears team. They could not stop the run game. Kyler Murray didn't do a damn thing because he didn't have to do a damn thing. Kyler Murray was 13 for 20 for 154 yards. He didn't even throw a touchdown. He didn't throw anything. But fun stats to look at here. James Conner, 107 yards. Amari Mercado, 59 yards. Trey Benson, 37 yards. This team, they just couldn't stop. They couldn't stop the run. And man, it showed. And it was awesome to watch. We had 213 yards rushing on the day.
Yeah, it is actually wild.
And, our defense is, typically not good. We held the whole Bears team to 69 rush yards. So we just came out. We just showed that we were the more physical team, and it showed from the get go. We did not allow a touchdown, and that's no surprise considering Caleb Williams is only averaging one touchdown a game, if that. And last week against the Commanders, he threw one at the very end of the fourth quarter. If it wasn't for that, he'd also have zero that game. So I'm glad that they're trying to, the Cardinals are kind of shaping into form. They just went and traded for a pass rusher to help our defense that's beat up all to hell and injured. The Bears, on the other hand, I don't know what the hell is going on with this team, but they can't score, and I don't know. They don't look very good to me.
Looking at the box score here, the thing that jumps out to me from the Bears is that they only had 69 yards on the ground amongst 3 people.
Yeah.
Are they first in the division?
Yes, they are.
1.5
games. They're 1.5 games first in the division because we also have the tiebreaker against the 49ers and the Rams currently because we beat both of them.
So it's a good year for the 49ers to be bad, for the Cardinals to be good. 69 yards, 50. DeAndre Swift has 16 carries on 51 yards.
Terrible.
Fuck. 3.2 average. Roshan Johnson has 3 carries for 13 yards. Caleb Williams scrambled 4 times for 5 yards. So, I mean, outside of Roman Dunze on the receiving core, Keenan Allen does nothing. 4 catches for 30 yards. DJ Moore giving up mid-play. DJ Moore is so fucking done with that team.
Yeah.
He's so done with Caleb Williams. We know from last year that he is a huge fan of having Justin Fields as his quarterback. So as soon as they traded him, he kind of checked out. So they have him long term too. So interested to see what they do with that. If they keep him, trade him. I think he wants to be traded. Yeah,
I agree.
Yeah,
Eberflus
I agree.
is the issue. Like between him, offense coordinator, they're just.
Why does it seem like every year the Bears have a bad coaching staff. Every single year, it's like they'll have talent. They'll have, of course, every team has their low spots, but like they shouldn't have been. This game should not have been not 29-9. Um, I'd say 29-20 sounds more reasonable.
Yeah.
But I think this game just comes down to bad coaching when you can't even put up a single touchdown on the board.
Yep.
Against
Not
one of
one
the
touchdown, and then they gave up 6 sacks.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you can probably chalk a little bit up to the O-line just being terrible, but instead of spending all the money to have 3 awesome weapons, why not go get some fucking linemen?
Yeah.
You know?
Williams is still thinking it's college out there, thinking NFL corners can't cover zones, and they're looking for the. Yeah, no, I totally agree.
Yeah.
Like prime example is like corners when they play cover 4 palms. The corner's usually inside,
Yeah.
covering underneath, but fuck, corners in the NFL can fucking cover. They can
Yeah.
come out of that underneath zone and play the corner routes, play the out routes, and jump them.
I agree. And then also, like, our defense is not good. And if we held Caleb Williams to this, but, fun fact, watch what we did against Caleb Williams last week, and then now the Cardinals are about to go play the Jets, right? Watch how Aaron Rodgers actually dissects the Cardinals, defense, and is probably going to torch our ass realistically. But yeah, he just doesn't have that ability to read that defense yet. So we were able to just go out there and kind of dick around. We had Buda Baker all over the field. Buda Baker, I think, led our team in, just about every fucking category because he didn't know what to do. Buda Baker, 10 tackles and 2 assists. He led our team by the next closest guy had 6 tackles.
He had 10 solo tackles.
Yeah, 10
that
solo
man was
tackles.
everywhere.
Yeah, like we just, just put Buda Baker wherever, and the Bears were like, "Oh shit, what's he doing? Like, what do we do?" Aaron Rodgers came out on Pat McAfee yesterday and was like, "Buda Baker's that dude's a fucking animal." He came out and gave him his flowers and was like, "That dude's an animal. I'm watching film on him right now because I got a play in this coming week." So they're gonna key Buda Baker as a Jets because they have a very experienced quarterback that's been doing it for 18 years. But the Bears just couldn't figure that out to look at one of the best premier safeties in the league, and he showed them why you need to fucking key the goddamn Buda Baker.
Yeah. The Bears are shaping up to be more of exactly what we thought they'd be. Maybe 2 games under 500. I think it's where they finish up at the end of the year. At best, 2 games are under 500, but still a bigger jump than being, having the first pick. Or I guess they would have had the second or third pick even without the trade. But the Bears are going to bear. I told Pete that Bears are going to bear.
I tried telling Pete. I was like, dude, like, come on, man, let's be real here. Like, it's gonna happen.
Yeah.
Next on the slate, we got Jags, Eagles. This was the Eagles playing with their fucking food. This game shouldn't have been close. I don't even know what to say about this. I don't even know what to think about this Eagles team. The Eagles team is 6-2, but they keep just fucking winning because they win last second, but they shouldn't. Like this team is it the coaching? I don't know what in the fuck's going on, but the fact that you're letting a bad 2-7 Jags team back into this game somehow, and the only reason the Jags lost is because they're like, oh, let me throw a fade route to Ernest Johnson, who is all of 5'10", and not put it on him, like put the ball like on the fucking numbers of his jersey. No, I'm gonna throw it up and over him so that way somebody can go make a play on this ball.
Yeah,
I don't understand that, but that's how close they were to winning this game. How? I don't know. The score of the game going into halftime was like 16-0. And then they come out and put another 6 up quickly. And it's like, and you just slowly let this Jacksonville Jaguars team get back into this game. What in the hell are we doing?
Well, I will say, middle third quarter, it was 22-8. Trevor Lawrence, 1-yard touchdown, QB sneak it in. So it's 22-8. You're still in control of this game. Maybe Tim Hawkins can tell me what happened on this play, but Trayvon Walker, 35-yard fumble return for a touchdown. Makes it 22-16 real quick.
Yeah.
So looks like you fumbled on your own 35-yard line and couldn't recover. I said this a couple Mondays ago or Sundays ago on the fantasy football show that we do on Sunday mornings right before the noon game start. So if you need fantasy football advice, tune in What I guess it's noon Eastern, 11 Central. Go over fantasy football advice. We were somehow ended up talking about Eagles game plan and like why aren't the Eagles blowing out teams? Why are they trying to scrape these wins away, or why do they lose at the very last second?
They're
It's because
shooting themselves in the foot.
The Eagles, for some reason, I've said it a couple Mondays ago or Sundays ago. Sorry, they play down to whatever fucking team they're playing. You look at their box scores, like they haven't blown anybody out as they should have blown people out. Yes, they are winning these games. They did lose. They lost to the Commanders, I believe, and then um, the Falcons. Last second to the Falcons.
Yeah.
They are figuring out their offense. It is suck for them that they lost AJ Brown again. After he had a decent first half. Saquon is that fucking dude.
Do we need to talk about the
Bucks and
hurdle?
Bucks.
Everybody's seen the hurdle. It's ridiculous. The dude accidentally fat fingered Y on Madden and hurdled accidentally.
Right after the spin.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the only way the Eagles are going to find success. Starting off a game, it's just handing that fucking ball off to Saquon, getting him screens, getting him on outside zones, because he is that engine. Whenever they're 3rd and 10, 3rd and 8, they have two really good fucking receivers and Dallas Goedert. I think both of their receivers can be the wide receiver ones on any team in the league. So it sucks that he went down. It's looking like AJ Brown is practicing today, so
that's a good sign.
That's a good sign for them. Terrible sign for me. But yeah, Jalen has been playing mistake free. It's because the reason why that is a thing, Jalen has been playing better, is because he is finally given the fucking ball. Like the play calling has been better. He's finally given the ball off.
Yeah.
At least 2 times a set of downs to Saquon.
Saquon had the ball 30 times this game. He had 27 rushes and 3 receptions. He had 199 yards and 2 touchdowns. That offense should just be Saquon.
Yeah.
I don't know why we're doing anything else crazy other than let's just give this man the fucking ball. Try not to fucking cough it up on our own 35, and this game wouldn't have even been close.
Yeah. That's a funny. I like seeing this. Jalen has been playing better mistake free because they're running more and limiting his chances. Sounds like your quarterback's not that good, bud. You got to limit your quarterback to hand it off to your running back.
Jalen did run 13 times for 67 yards.
He did, yeah. He did take off a bunch.
Some zone reads, yeah. They were getting enough. That's what their offense should be. I don't know why they would try to do anything else. I don't know why you're trying to go 4 wide. Fuck that. Keep Dallas Goedert in the game. Keep Saquon in the game and run.
It looks like Saquon fumbled. That was a Saquon fumble on that.
It was. It was a Saquon fumble.
You live
when he has 159 yards on the ground, it's like, well, I'm not going to keep giving him the ball. Yeah. This game was closer than it should have been, but we're going to keep it moving here so we can get out of here. I know everybody's ADHD stops paying attention about the hour mark, so we're going to try to get through some of these. Rams Seahawks. What a game. Seahawks should have won this fucking game, but they did not.
Let me tell you. Puka Nacua needs to go to fucking therapy or some shit because that motherfucker throwing a fucking punch in the first quarter and costing me my fantasy game. At a helmet. Well, I never understood that.
Why are you punching a helmet?
Why do NFL they fucking punch helmets with their bare hands? I don't fucking understand it. Why, 1, would you throw a punch at a helmet? And 2, I don't think it warranted an ejection, maybe a fine. But that game, Puka getting ejected, I lost my fantasy game by 4 points this week. So I am very much so fucking pissed. And Puka was my last player. But even without Puka, Cooper Kupp did not play in this game. Fuck, man, look at these players that scored. DeMarcus Robinson, Cameron Kitchens, and DeMarcus Robinson again. Good old Matt Stafford is making it happen down there with nothing.
Well, DeMarcus Robinson made it happen with that one-handed catch to win the game. That was pretty nice. That was a pretty nice catch. But if I'm the fucking Seahawks, just kick the goddamn field goal.
So stupid.
God damn it. 4th and 1 at marching in at almost the red zone. Just kick the fucking field goal.
Just kick it. Yeah.
Oh, Jesus. That just drives me insane. Your defense, Seattle's defense was playing good all game. Why give them the ball and let them march right down the field? And they were in field goal range when they scored that touchdown. And Matthew Stafford said, no, 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 no. I got this. I don't need this rookie kicker, being
Yeah.
peer pressured and iced, and maybe missing this. He says, no, 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 no. Darius Robinson's down there. I'm going to put it to where just he can catch it right here in the bucket, one hand touchdown. GG's. Matthew Stafford said GG no re because they
GG no
didn't
re.
GG no re because they didn't kick the fucking field goal when they should have.
Well,
God, it drives me insane because Seattle's defense played so well. And Geno Smith played like absolute dog shit, throwing 3 interceptions. He still had 3 tutties. Jackson Smith and Jigba had himself a day, 7 receptions, 180 yards, 2 tutties.
that shit is wild.
Yeah, but the 3 turnovers and still almost winning this game shows how good Seattle's defense was playing. Kick the field goal and let them have to march the whole length of the field without any momentum. Because when you get stopped on 4th and 1 in overtime, they're like, "Oh yeah, we could just go down there, kick field goal, and fucking win this thing." Put the pressure on them. They didn't, and they lose. What do you expect?
Yeah. Also, no DK Metcalf, so
No DK.
you're just you're down with your personnel. I mean, Jason, career game for that man.
Yeah,
13 targets, 7 catches, 180 yards, 2 touchdowns. Like we said earlier, Kenneth Walker had a very Kenneth Walker game. A ton of volume coming out of him. 25 carries for 83 yards, no touchdowns. Yeah, that just comes down to bad coaching down at the end of the game. And you have a very good Super Bowl quarterback in Matt Stafford. He's going to make sure he fucking wins that game.
It reminds me a lot of like what Dan Campbell does as we transition into this game, where he refuses to kick field goals when you're at 4th and 1. It's like, dude, just kick the fucking field goal.
It'll be 4th and
Just kick the
13.
fucking field goal. Yeah.
4th and 13 on 2-pointer.
Yeah, just kick the fucking
Yeah.
field goal. This game, though, the best team in the NFL, the Lions, are at Lambeau playing the Packers in a monsoon. Everybody expected this is Jared Goff's first game this year out of a dome in a monsoon, and he still had himself a day because the Lions' offensive line is just that. They're just those fucking dudes. That's all there is to it. Jared Goff only threw 4 incompletions. He's thrown more touchdowns than incompletions in like the last 7 weeks or some crazy stat like that. He's just had himself an absolute day. The running game went bananas. It's just that offensive line and defensive line or defense for the Lions are going to carry this team as far as they can go.
Yeah,
you're in the same way kicking fucking field goal.
Yeah, I remember the group chat every fucking week. It's just like, kick the fucking ball, Sirianni. Nah,
Yeah.
we're gonna run it. We're gonna run it.
Yeah.
I remember that. Yeah, that would mean that. I mean, to the Eagles' credit, they have cleaned that up and they do kick the field goals more often now than they did at the beginning of the year. But back to the Lions game. I think Jared Goff had a decent game. He did what he needed to win. I think he threw 1 touchdown to Amon-Ra for 3-yard pass, and I think this is more of what you know what. It's just a hard game to read because I did watch bits and pieces of it. There was a bad weather game, so you don't expect a lot of scoring. Jordan Love did have a really, really good game. Statistically, just didn't throw a fucking touchdown, which ended up costing them the game.
Yeah, and he was like just at like 62% completion percentage. I mean, Jalen Reed had himself a day, but it's just not enough, man. Like those Lions just beat up on you. Josh Jacobs had himself a day. That dude averaged 7 yards a carry. He had 95 yards on 13 carries.
Yeah.
And the really bad pick. Yeah, you are
Yeah.
correct. Yeah, you are. It's almost a guarantee that Jordan Love's going to do one of those stupid picks that ends up in a touchdown because it's just Jordan Love, and he needs to stop trying to make everything happen.
Yeah, and this game was really, I mean, it was 24-14 final, but I mean, if you look at the last 10 points were scored by the Packers with a field goal with a minute left to go in the third, and then a touchdown with 3 minutes left in the game. So it was really 24-3.
Yeah,
3 quarters of this game.
Yeah.
So yeah, this was just utter domination on all 3 phases of the game by the Lions here. I said like 3 weeks ago after the destruction of Dallas, when the Lions played them, that the Lions are going to go on a fucking rampage. Because like we knew the Lions were good. They did have that one loss going into that game, but fuck, man, I don't know what's going on with them this year. They're like, yeah, they have playmakers in every position. Some positions they have two playmakers, like their running backs. But their defense is just fucking outstanding. Their coaching is on point, and they're playing with like a chip on their shoulder. It feels like you go out there and you can tell like the body language, like it is
Yeah.
like they're fucking locked in. They're just like they don't give a fuck like what's in their way. They're just going.
Yeah. Well,
Um,
so I'll put it in perspective. So, as a Cardinals fan, number one in the NFC West, the Cardinals are not a terrible team, right? But what the Cardinals do really well is they're very physical, and they try to attack. And granted, you'll catch the ball 14 yards downfield, but when they hit you, they're going to try to punch the ball out and they're going to hit the fuck out of you. Granted, their coverage is terrible, but when we played the Lions, we averaged like 2 yards a carry on the ground. Their front four was phenomenal. Their back end, we couldn't pass for more than 5 yards of pass attempt. Like we were terrible. And then when they were on offense, they were averaging like 6 yards a carry against us. Against the team that is first in their respective division, they absolutely manhandled the Cardinals. And the Cardinals, I'll put them at a B tier team. But the way that the Lions are playing right now, like I just don't know how a team other than the Ravens can really compete with just how fucking physical and how well they are playing. That team is
yeah,
when I saw that was like week 4 when they played the Cardinals, and I was like, yeah, this team's fucking awesome. I don't know how
yeah.
all phases of the game they are beating everybody
And
physically.
that's with the the loss of Aiden Hutchinson for the year. Man
Yeah,
snapped his
they
ankle.
got Zadarius Smith now, but
Yeah,
still, yeah, I agree. It's just like if the Cardinals' identity is supposed to be beating up on teams and hitting hard and running, and then the Lions come into town and just absolutely manhandle us. It's like fuck, dude. Like there is a different tier of
hmm
what in the hell that they are doing currently, and they show it week in and week out. Like that's the best team in football. There's just no doubt. Almost done. All right, Colts Vikings. Um, yeah. Well, what did you expect?
this was a boring ass
This was
game.
closer than I fucking expected. That's for damn sure.
Yeah.
Uh,
Um, let's Vikings had 3 turnovers in this game. No points on the board at halftime. They're down actually 7-0 at half.
yeah.
Um,
Defense
Sam
played
Darnold.
well enough though to
Yeah,
keep the Vikings to 6-2 Vikings to 7 points at half. Like this is fucking awesome for their defense. Like you
yeah,
should be winning those games.
yeah,
Realistically, if you're holding the Vikings to 21 points and you have any sort of competent offense, you should be winning these games.
yeah. Watching that game because that was the wasn't that the primetime game?
Sunday night
Yeah.
game. Yeah,
I was watching that one, in and out, was eating dinner, doing some things around the house, waiting,
yeah.
getting ready for the week. But look, that first half was just fucking terrible. But I think that says more to the Colts defense in this game. They were more of a bend
Yeah.
don't break. Because you look at the stat line, shit, dude. Darnold almost throws for 300 yards, 2 interceptions. Um, Jefferson has a 7 catch, 137-yard game. Like the numbers are there for this should have been a 35-point outing for the Vikings, but this is that actually kind of shocked me that now that the 4-5 Colts are how they showed on defense. We know they don't have much on offense outside of Jonathan Taylor, who's not having much help on the
Well,
line.
let's. I mean, this game was supposed to be 6-21 if it wasn't for the fumble, scoop, and score.
Yeah.
It's like what in the fuck? Like Joe Flacco is supposed to be their savior with AR-15 on the bench, and shit, he threw one pick for 179. Jonathan Taylor only averaged 3.7 yards a carry for 48 yards. Nobody on the receiving team really did, and none of the receivers really did exceptionally well. So offense was just inept. The only reason this fucking game was close is because of a fumble six. Like I think the Vikings should have done better. I don't know if the Vikings are falling off or people are catching up to Kevin O'Connell's playbook, but I just I don't know. I'm not too sold on that game. I'm glad that they covered because it was a 5 point spread and I needed them to cover and they did. Thankfully at the end of that game, but other than that, I mean kind of a boring ass game to watch. JJ is always going to get his. JJ is well over 100 yards as always. Jordan Addison had himself a tutty. But other than that, I mean, that game probably should have been flexed. I really think Lions Packers should have been that Sunday night game.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I agree with you. The Vikings should have came out and dominated that game.
Mhm.
But you take away the scoop and score, it's 21-6. You're only scoring 21 points on the Colts, who have been
Mhm.
notoriously struggling this season. Um, like I said, that was my lock of the week, was this game going over 43.5 points. I'm sorry, 46.5 points. And I think, you're missing 2 touchdowns there from the Vikings that they normally would get against these bad teams.
All right, I'll be
Um,
right back, Gooch. Give me 30 seconds. But keep going.
okay. You want to? Okay. Well, intermission break. He's drank a little bit too many tonight. A little bit, ladies and gentlemen. But yeah, going back on this Vikings team, I don't know. Put it down in the comments if you think that the teams are figuring out the Vikings offensive scheme, because we know their defense is good. Um, we've seen Anzalone have a career year. He's been showing up on big plays, making a lot of stops. Um, Darnold is steady as a rock. You get 2 to 3 touchdowns out of him a game. Is what you expect nowadays out of this Minnesota offense. Um, the O line is good. I'm just surprised that they came out and scored 21 points on the Colts. And granted, the Colts were 500 before this game. So you're like, okay, yeah, it's the Colts, but yeah, you're still 500 at this point. But you still got to come out and show that you deserve to be 6-2 now after this game. And I don't think they showed out the way they should have.
I agree. All right. Monday Night Football. What do we know about the Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes?
God loves Patrick Mahomes, and you do not give that man an opportunity in overtime.
Yeah, Jesus. If I'm the Bucks, I go for 2. Fuck it.
Everyone, yeah, you.
You
Then
got to go for
I
2.
think normal, like if it's anybody but the Chiefs, you go for 2. If you're down by 7 points and you score a go-ahead touchdown with less than a minute to go, you fucking go for 2 against the Kansas City Chiefs. Anyone else, you kick the field goal, you play for overtime, you do your due diligence there,
Yeah.
but
Not Mahomes.
not Mahomes. You're just, especially when there's a 50-50 chance that you're not going to get the ball first.
Yeah. Did you see Baker's reaction when Mahomes got the ball first? He's like, "Oh fuck, we
He was
lost."
like,
He's like,
"Fuck."
"God damn it, dude! I'm not even gonna get
Mm.
on the fucking field. This is some shit." And
Yeah,
sure shit, what they do? A 6 yard or a 6 minute drive down, just slow, methodical. Travis Kelsey on third downs got his little 10-yard dump offs, and
yeah.
here's Patrick Mahomes once again. Should have fucking gone for 2. God damn
Same old. I
it.
think Twitter was in an outrage. Everyone's go for 2, go for 2, go for 2, because like you had all the momentum on your side.
All of it.
You have the Chiefs reeling after that touchdown. You make key stops going into that fourth quarter, aside from the DeAndre Hopkins touchdown. But like the thing is, you score with 27 seconds left in the fourth quarter. You're down by 1. You go for 2 because you know damn well, as what transpired shortly after, you go for 2 because the Chiefs, like something about the Chiefs in the playoffs, even if they don't get the ball first, they have a fucking great defense. They have all 3 levels
Yeah.
of their defense are tremendous. Um, you have their secondary, what's his fucking name? Trent McDuffie leading the way with them
McDuffie's a
on their
dog out
DBs.
of UW.
Yeah, out of
What a
UW. I mean,
dog.
he was a great rookie, and he's only getting better. And the important part is that he's keeping the same level of play the high level of play that he's been playing.
Yeah.
Their linebackers, is Nick Bolton still there?
Yeah.
I want to say
Bolton's
Nick
still
Bolton
there.
is like the heart and soul of that core in the middle, and then you have big,
Big.
big, big Chris Jones, just fucking game wrecking. So even if you do get the ball first, you've lost your momentum. You're in Arrowhead. You're not like the odds are not on your side there. Like
Yeah.
even if you do get the ball first in overtime, like
Would you rather get the ball in overtime and have to march 80 yards downfield with out your top 3 wide receivers, or at the 2-yard line, try to get one play into the end zone, boom, you win the fucking game. Like let's just
Yeah.
take common sense here.
Yeah, it's a no fucking brainer. Especially, I think the important part is that right after that, what Ryan Miller 1 yard pass from Baker touchdown
Yeah.
to put him down by 1 before the kick, you have the Chiefs. Like if you look at their body language, they're
Yeah.
down on their spirit because they know this game should not have been this close to
Yeah.
their standards, and
Yeah.
they're down and out on themselves on defense,
They're
which is the only
covering
way.
practice squad wide receivers, and they're like, dude,
Yeah,
these fucking practice squad wide receivers are tied with us right now.
yeah,
Go
and
on,
like
punch it
that's
in.
the going forward. Chiefs, I'll move on to 8-0. That's the only way you're going to beat the Chiefs is simply by outscoring their defense. Like, just you have the opportunity to beat them with the ball in your hands. You fucking do that. You live and die by a 2-point conversion against the Chiefs.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. You live and die by it because you're not going to win in overtime. As
Yeah,
terrible as Patrick Mahomes is playing, people forget he is Patrick Mahomes. Brady never had, Brady has had plenty of games where he plays like shit. But guess what happens? They give him the fucking ball in the fourth quarter, or they give him the ball in overtime, and that's where you become great. Is when can you do it when it counts? And he does it time and time again. When will people stop giving him the ball in overtime? It drives me insane. I still like the Chiefs. Got a lot of family in Kansas that are huge Chiefs fans. I'm sure some of them are watching. I root for the Chiefs, but if I'm the Bucks, I'm losing my mind. Why are we not going for fucking 2 there?
yeah.
With that being said, like the Kansas City had themselves a day. Travis Kelsey, 14 receptions. I think he tied his own record for receptions in a game. Um, they're playing decent, and then as Tim Hawkins was saying, D Hop is getting comfortable, and that is
Mhm.
scary. If D Hop can stay healthy, that is going to be scary because D Hop and Mahomes are already figuring out body language on where this route's going to break, when he's going to break for this route, where he's expected to be. That triple coverage catch that he had that didn't end up scoring the touchdown, but ended up
Putting him there.
getting him
Yeah.
pretty close. That was not the designed route. But Mahomes could see D Hop feel the defense and where he needed to be and through
Mhm.
that. And that is scary for the fact that they've only been
Yeah.
playing together a week and a half. Like that
Yeah.
is terrifying on how good D Hop may, if D Hop stays next year and stays healthy, or even this year, if you look at like a small sample size of like half the season, he may have what a Randy Moss did when he got traded for a 4th-round pick from the Raiders to the Patriots. Scary.
Yeah, I think it's bad news going forward. Like, you've lost, and they don't have Pacheco. They haven't had Pacheco since week 1 or week
Yeah.
2.
Yeah.
They don't. They lost Rashee Rice for the year. There's up and coming star receiver.
Yeah.
And then what do? They go out get better on defense. They go out and get D Hop. Kareem Hunt comes back into the team and looks like the Kareem Hunt from fucking 2017,
Yeah. He's killing
2018,
it
whatever.
instantly.
Yeah, like it's
So what's gonna
Kel-
happen when what's gonna happen when Isaiah Pacheco comes back and now you have a 2-headed monster? Like this team just keeps getting better.
yeah. It's it's not good. It's not good for the league. It's like if you're in a shootout with the Chiefs, just bank on you not winning that game. And another thing about going back to the Bucks and like the 2-point conversion, if you don't get that 2-point conversion and you end up losing the game, obviously by a point, I don't think anybody is upset at you at the
No,
decision to go
no.
for 2 there because
You could go to that post game press conference with your head held high and said, I didn't want to give Patrick Mahomes the fucking ball in overtime. And everybody
yeah,
would have been like, yeah,
yeah,
that
yeah,
checks out. Yeah,
yeah,
that checks
fair,
out.
yeah. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Good.
Yeah,
Good. Good. Situational football like
yeah.
move. Like
That makes sense.
nobody is upset at you. It's when you fucking willingly go into overtime with Patrick Mahomes in
Yeah.
Arrowhead. Like you're then the people are like, why the fuck did you do that? Like what we're doing right now.
I
So
just don't understand the thought process of, all right, there's a 50-50 shot that we get the ball. If we get the ball, now we have 75 yards to go to make sure Mahomes doesn't get the ball. Or we could have just gone for it and you only need 2 yards to gain. Like it just
yeah,
the math ain't mathing. Like I just
yeah,
don't understand. Like were you that confident in Baker Mayfield and Caleb Otten? Like or in Cade Otten? Like because that's who he was throwing to is that fucking one dude Their rushing was terrible. They're not running the ball worth a fucking damn. Like I'm not confident in that fucking offense. Like, no, give me 2 yards to end this shit.
Yeah, and as good of a mobile quarterback as Baker can be, he's a really good extender of plays. Just fucking draw something up where everyone just does crossing routes in the end zone from the 2-yard line. Baker rolls out, and he's gonna make something happen like that. The chances of that happening and scoring on that is way higher than driving
every
yards.
team has some version of a trick play that they only plan on using in the Super Bowl when it matters. This was your fucking Super Bowl. You've been practicing on a trick play. I know you have. You have been practicing on one trick play since the start of training camp. This was your fucking Super Bowl. Throw that fucking play out there and see what happens.
Yeah.
Realistically.
Yeah. And like bigger picture, going into this game, the Bucks were 4-4. You have an opportunity to go above 500, keep your momentum going.
Yeah.
You're in the same division.
One game behind the Falcons. One game behind the Falcons.
Like you're there. You're even with everything going against you. Your receivers are out. Your run game is looking like it's got a bunch of fucking hitches in it now. Like you still have the opportunity to put yourself in a position to compete for that division title. Now that you're 2 games back, and on top of being hurt and just down and out on yourselves. So yeah, looking back on it, it is a fucking terrible move to not go for 2.
I agree. I think we ended on that one and just say like, fuck, the Bucks were so close. And they would have been the first team to fucking knock the Chiefs off. It's got to happen eventually. But the Chiefs are only getting better. That's what's scary. Is they're only getting better and they're playing better ball.
And they didn't even use all of their weapons. Xavier Worthy got no looks. He had one rush for minus 10 yards. So it's like they weren't even at their full fucking show of force. It's fucking nuts, man. Just the Chiefs are gonna chief. That's all I'm gonna say.
God loves Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs, and they'll be back. They're gonna end up playing the Ravens in Arrowhead as they do every year in the conference championship. And hello, he's got a bone. He wants to say hi. Hi. Can I finish? I'll come give you some love in a little bit. But yeah, God loves the Chiefs and Mahomes, and there's just nothing you can do about it. But with that, we are going to get out of here because I know everybody's ADHD. Everybody's already probably watching something TikToks. They're on their phones watching TikToks. This is an 1.5 hour long show. Ain't nobody fucking paying attention to us anymore. I'm actually pretty surprised though. We had 34 viewers. I'm very grateful for everything that you guys do. Once again, my name is Jer the Bear because I'm fat and look like a bear. And I'm kidding. And we have the Candle King, Christian Gutierrez, stepping in for Jake Krogan because he had a medical emergency. No, I'm just kidding. He just wanted to be a bitch and did not show up. But this is the Week 9 NFL recap, part of the BSing Sports Network, where we do a whole lot of BSing and very minimal sports talk. But we do have shows throughout the week for whatever your caveat is. Wednesdays are the recap shows for the whole NFL that me and Jake normally do, and sometimes Goody. Friday is the sports betting. That is at 8 Eastern on Friday nights. If you want to fucking watch some people make some money, come watch that show. I am on an absolute heater in the NFL. I'm terrible at college. Goody over here is he just clean swept his 5-leg parlay for college that made him about $200 off about a $5 bet. And then Saturdays are the prediction shows, right? Yeah, prediction at 6 Eastern. And then Sunday, right before kickoff, an hour before kickoff, they do the fantasy football. And then Tuesday, if you're an Eagles fan for whatever reason, I feel bad for you, but they do have an Eagles recap. They do have an Eagles recap as well if you really feel like watching a shit team, and hear, want to hear whatever they got to say about their poverty franchise. But all I know is that there's not a Cardinal, podcast because I don't hate myself that much. But anyways, we have a little bit of everything for everybody. Anyways, thanks for watching, guys. This is another Week 3 Wednesday show. You guys take it easy.